as the season wound down, what were your feelings about what was going to happen next year with you? And when did you finally get that notification that you were going to be back?
Yeah, like I said, I've been in constant communication with ownership. Heard this morning. Thankful for the opportunity. Got a lot of work to do. Obviously, 3-14, not good enough.
You said you heard this morning, and that was through John.
Yeah.
Through John, yeah.
Yep.
We spoke with John. He talked about the defense not being good enough. Have you made any staff changes?
Yeah, haven't made any staff changes. I'll just say everything wasn't good enough. So, when you only win 3 games, there's a lot of things that need to be improved. And again, it's only the day after the last game, so we'll get started on that process.
Are you considering staff changes? Are you considering it?
Look, we just got done. We just got done with meeting with the players. I'll sit down with all the coaches, and we'll make the best decisions we can for the football team.
So you're not
You say that, but by this point last year, you had already moved on from Thomas McGahee and Bobby Johnson. So it's not crazy that you would have already thought about making staff changes.
Yeah, haven't thought about it in terms of I got a lot of confidence in the guys that have put the time and effort and energy in. The results were terrible, but we're moving forward here and do everything we can do to improve it.
John also said you guys had a long meeting on Friday and you laid out your plan. So within that plan, there was nothing about making any staff changes?
Yeah, what I talk about with John is private. So we had a long conversation about a lot of different things.
Within that plan, he expressed he wasn't happy with the defense. So that would seem to put Shane Bowen in the crosshairs. Just the owner saying he's not happy with the defense.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it as that. I mean, look, you're not happy with anything when you win 3 games, Dan.
You also mentioned he said to you, have you thought about not calling plays next year?
Yeah, I brought that up. To him in a meeting. Again, there's no decision that's been made. We'll sit back and take a look at everything and do what we need to do.
When we talked to you at the owners meeting, you were pretty adamant about wanting play calling back. Talking about the number of head coaches who are offensive minded that are still calling plays. So to give it up after 1 year after taking it back, I mean, why is that something you're?
Well, I'm not saying I'm giving it up or not giving it up.
Why is it something you're considering?
Look, we won 3 games, so I'm going to consider every option to try to be better.
Brian, what is your vision for the team going forward? Because John talked about the fact that he remains confident in both your vision and Joe's vision.
I'd just say we got a lot of work to do, and that's what we'll do.
How much of your future here do you think is tied to who the quarterback is going to be in September?
Yeah, I'm focused on today here. We just found out we're going to be able to stay, so got a lot of work to do, and that's what we're going to do.
Why did you do exit meetings this year but not last year?
I thought it was the right thing to do. Did it the first year too.
Why wasn't it the right thing last year?
Because we thought something else would be a little bit better. So didn't like the way we did it last year, so we changed it to this year. Just like you change from year to year with schedules and practice routines and meetings with whatever it may be. So we figured we'd do it this year. We did it after the first year. We did it in groups, select groups, like free agents versus rookies versus second-year players. So that was the decision we made.
Right. Knowing that you were found out today that you're coming back for next year, but there's obviously no commitment beyond that year. Does that make you more willing or more likely to pursue a veteran quarterback than a rookie quarterback who you will have to obviously develop?
Yeah, I'd say we'll pursue anything we think can make us better. NFL is usually a 1-year deal anyway, so we'll do everything we can do to be much better than we were this year.
After your discussions with John and just going into next season, do you feel like you need to make the playoffs in 2025?
No, again, the conversations we have are private. I would just say, obviously, 3 wins isn't good enough.
What kind of honor and privilege is it to coach this franchise in your mind?
Yeah, it's a great honor. Need to do a better job.
Personally, then, absent John, personally, do you feel like you need to make the playoffs next year?
I just think we got to do a better job of continuing improving where we're at. That's what we need to do. So, long road ahead, a lot of things to improve on, and it starts with me.
You guys blocked Kafka from interviewing for an OC job last offseason. Will you do the same this year, or has anything changed there?
Yeah, again, we just got done player meetings. I'll sit down with all the coaches, discuss a bunch of things with them, but got a lot of respect for Mike.
Why isn't Joe out here with you?
He's coming here after me to talk.
Are you doing those sit-downs with coaches today?
Over the next few days. Yeah, over the next few days.
You guys made some significant changes, whether it's special teams, other coaching staff, defensive coordinator. Would it be challenging to redo it again?
Yeah, like I said, I got a lot of confidence in the guys. We'll sit down, we'll talk about a lot of different things, and we'll make the decisions we think we need to make.
What do you look at when you say we have to fix here? Like, why did this season go wrong? What sticks out to you in that regard?
Yeah, that's. There's a lot of things. Obviously, didn't play well enough, didn't coach well enough.
Brian,
One of
you
the things players brought up to me was that they thought at times there was a lack of accountability in regards to young players. I'm wondering what you think when you hear that.
Yeah, I'd say, look, everything's got to be better when you win 3 games.
you met with John on Friday, correct?
I did,
And you said,
amongst other days.
right,
Yeah.
well, but I mean, that was, he mentioned that was a long meeting.
Yeah, we had a long meeting.
And that was a, different than other meetings, right? That was a meeting to talk about the future and your job and things like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of discussions about a lot of different
He
things.
told you today that you're coming back.
He did.
Right. So between Friday and today, was anything in your mind thinking that your job might be in jeopardy, or is there anything from that Friday that kind of convinced you that you were going to come back?
Yeah, Paul, I try to focus on the things I can control, so that's
You're
what I
also a
focus
human
on.
being who values a job, I would think.
What's
So
that?
You're also a human being who values
Sure.
your job.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you, between Friday and Monday, was there anything in your head that said, I might not, just thinking about your job security?
Yeah, I just focus on what I need to do for each day.
Is that easy to compartmentalize for you, or do you find that as a challenge that through the years you've had to do that?
I think the older you get in this profession and the more things you go through, I think it's easier to focus on the things you can control.
What makes up, Brian, the qualities of a winning quarterback?
I'd say there's a lot of things. I'm not going to get into all the particulars. They got to be a good football player, got to be accurate, good decision maker, good in critical situations, good in 2-minute, good in the red zone, leadership. There's a lot of different things.
It's a difficult chore to find one like that.
Yeah.
Brian, do you believe that you've had the players that you needed to win more games than maybe you guys have the last 2 years?
Yeah, I just say, look, we didn't do a good enough job. I didn't do a good enough job, and we're going to do everything we can do to get it better.
We asked you last week, what you learned about yourself as a coach, and now the end of the season's here, and you had that time to sit down and talk with John. What have you learned about yourself as a coach over this year?
Well, again, it's the season. The season's not 24 hours over. So again, we got a lot of work to do, and that's what we plan on doing.
Did you guys go all out to win that game yesterday?
Yeah. I mean, we fake punt, and I mean,
I don't know, just talking to some players, they said it
jumped
almost felt like a
off
preseason
sides
game with some of the lineup decisions and stuff like that.
well, we were looking at other guys too to see how they played and give them some opportunities that have competed here, and a lot of them did a nice job. Unfortunately, we made a couple key penalties there at the end that shouldn't have made.
Why did you kick the field goal late in the fourth there rather than going for it? You've been going for it earlier.
Because I thought that was the right thing to do.
Is there anything you can put your finger on with that? You bring up the key penalties at the end. The first year, your first season, those little details, you guys seem to, those were what were winning you games. The last 2 years, those seem to be kind of what's costing you these close games. Do you have anything you could put your finger on in that regard?
Yeah, I'd say there's a lot of things that are costing us, and I got to do a better job with it.
When will you start your draft quarterback tape watching, evaluations, etc.?
Yeah, soon.
I mean, this week?
Yeah, soon.
Brian, do you think you're set up to succeed here? Are the components in place? Are the pieces in place that you've got every opportunity to win?
Yeah, and look, we're going to have to do a good job this offseason and improving on a lot of areas.
Along with possibly giving up play calling, what other changes are you considering making in your role or how you operate?
Yeah, we'll start that here, and we'll go through the process here over the months here leading up to when we get to May.
What did you bring up, though, in your meeting with John?
Yeah, I'll keep all that private.
Brian, the record as such is one that gets guys fired, obviously, the record. Do you think that the way the team went through the season, not a lot of controversies, seemed to play hard, seemed to not, get off track, do you think that helped in a season that you lost 3 games to convince ownership that
Won 3 games.
won 3 games?
Yeah.
Did I say lose 3 games?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Wish it was reversed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be having this discussion right now then. But I'm saying the way the team kind
Yeah.
of got guided through everything, that helped your case with
Well, I knew you guys talked to John. So look, again, I make no excuses. Not good enough. I think the guys battled, stuck together, but obviously a lot of improvements we need to make.
John said that he questioned you about, whether you were going to call plays or not next year. You said that you were the one that brought it up. Which
Yeah, I'd say we probably, I don't know, maybe he asked a question. I mean, it was a good conversation. It was a long conversation.
Couple more. Would that be? Is that how much of an internal battle is that for you to decide whether to give it up? 'Cause I know you take a lot of pride in doing it.
It's not. I mean, look, we got to do stuff different when you only win 3 games. So a lot of things to look at, and not prepared to say what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do 24 hours after the game.
And in consideration with giving up play calling, is it the possibility of changing the offensive scheme to? You had a new play caller. Theoretically, he'd have his own ideas, his own scheme.
Yeah, I think Connor will do whatever we think we need to do.
I asked this last week, and you said there'd be time after the season, so I'll ask it again. Any regrets on how you guys handled Daniel Jones and letting him go when you let him go?
Yeah, again, we're kind of moving on here to 25.